They said that in order for you to reflect philosophically, you need to use framework. And what is framework? Okay, framework is a conceptual map consisting of views and beliefs in order for us to understand this object, in order for us to understand this particular problem. Okay, in this discussion, we will use the framework formulated by Ken Wilber. He called it as AQAL, All Quadrants, All Levels Framework. Framework 1 of Ken Wilber is on the screen. Look, it is a quadrant divided into four. The right portion represents the exterior, the objective aspects of everything, while the left portion, the upper left and the lower left, represents the subjective, interior aspects of everything, while the upper part, upper left and upper right, it represents singular, while in lower left and lower right, it represents the collective and many. So opposite. So we can say that upper left is the interior of individual, while the upper right is the exterior of individual, while the lower left is the interior of the collective or many, while the lower right is the exterior of collective or many. So framework 1 is the quadrants with its simple location. So look, we can use the simple location of the quadrant. So the interior of the individual is the upper left quadrant or UL. The exterior of the individual is the upper right quadrant or the UR. The interior of the collective is the lower left quadrant or lower left LL, and the exterior of the collective is the lower right quadrant. So this is the framework, and this is just a simple explanation. Framework 2 of Ken Wilber AQAL. So this time we change it with pronoun. So that is why framework 2 quadrants as expressed in language. So this time we use pronoun. So I is singular, individual, interior. You said I, ako. So it, ito. We, kami. They, sila. Look, what is in interior? In interior, it refers to all things we cannot perceive by our five senses. For example, our dreams, our values, our culture. In short, those that belong to our inner life. How about in the exterior? On the right portion, it refers to those things that can be perceived by our five senses. For example, I am smiling. When you see my smile, di ba? Yung ngiti ko, na makita niya akong ngumiti. Yung ngiti, yung nakita niyong pagngiti ko in my facial expression, that is exterior. So, dito yon, exterior, individual, but objective. Ngayon, but there is a meaning when you are going to smile, di ba? For example, sasabihin mo, siya umiti, siguro masaya siya. Yun yung interior. So, interior of individual, yung pagiging masaya. Paano mo nakikita ang masaya? Kasi nakita mo yung exterior, ngumiti. Di ba? Okay, kung nakita mo, nagkakagulo yung mga tao. Nakita mo sila, nagkakagulo. They, exterior. Pero, may malalim palang dahilan o kahulugan bakit sila nagkakagulo. Normally, if the group of people are chaotic, di ba, yung magulo, there is a problem. So, yung nakikita mong action nila na magpagiging magulo, yun yung exterior. Ngayon, yung dahilan or yung meaning bakit sila nagkakagulo, yung pala nagugutom or yung pala may problem, di ba? Interior. Okay? So, in quadrants as expressed in language, the interior of the individual is the pronoun I, as what I said. The exterior of the individual is the pronoun it. The interior of the collective is the pronoun we for plural collective. And the exterior of the collective is the pronoun they. Okay? Let's move on with framework 3 of Ken Wilber, AQAL, framework 3. This time, we applied it to human beings since our subject is philosophy of the human person. So, if we will apply Ken Wilber AQAL framework to human beings, so the first quadrant now, yung upper left, when we change it with language I, it represents the mind. Okay, interior, we cannot see. We cannot see those things that we are thinking. Okay, then the upper right, exterior, is our body. Then the lower left, collective, is the culture. And the lower right, collective, is the society. Why we change mind with upper left, individual, interior? As what I said, we cannot see those things that we are thinking. And for culture, we cannot see our dream, we cannot see our value. So that's why collective, interior, it is in the lower left. Ngayon, can we see our body? Yes. Can we touch our body? Yes. That's why exterior, individual. But if this group of people who belong to this particular society, collective body, diba? So, we can see them. So that's why mind, individual, interior, body, individual, exterior, culture, collective, interior, and society, collective, exterior. Okay, so the inside of the individual becomes the mind, or as what I said. The outside of the individual becomes the body because we can touch our body. The inside of the collective becomes the culture, and the outside of the collective becomes the society. This time, framework 4 of Ken Wilber, AQAL. So, we will change now mind with subjective, and we will change body with objective. Why we change it with subjective? Kasi class, pag sinabing subjective, yun yung nasa iyo. Yun yung paniniwala mo. Pag sinabing objective, yun naman yung gusto mong gawin para dun sa nakikita mo. For example, what is your objective in writing this poetry? You want to entertain others. Look, that is your objective. But if you are subjective, you are going to include your emotion. Sometimes you are biased. So in that case, you are subjective. That's why it is an interior. While objective, you are not thinking of yourself, but you are thinking of the others. For the lower part, interior, intersubjective. So, ito, individual, interior, subjective. Sa'yo yan. Ngayon, if you are going to exchange your opinion with the opinion of others, so, kaya nga pag minsan, pinagpipilitan mo yung opinion mo, paniniwala mo yan, you are very subjective in that case. Ngayon, yun din paniniwala niya, pinagpipilitan niya, intersubjective. Diba? Ngayon, kung kayo ay very objective, you are not focusing to your own opinion, you are going to open your mind and accept the opinion of others and until you come up with a very good solution. That is interobjective. Now, there is topic at the center. It represents the problem that we want to solve. So, if we are going to reflect philosophically, you will consider all of these aspects. Okay, look. For example, when we reflect on the nature of any concrete issue, like poverty, corruption, prostitution, or global warming, or any problems in the society, we can just put the issue at the center. And sinasabi ko ngayon na, you will put the issue at the center, then analyze its mental, physical, cultural, and social components. Look, when we say mental, we are referring to our mind. When we say physical, we are referring to our body, physical body. Cultural refers to our culture, dreams, aspiration, values. And social, we are referring to our society. If you are going to reflect philosophically, you are going to consider these four aspects included in the quadrants: the mental, physical, cultural, and social components. So if you will consider all these aspects, what you are applying, this is looking at an issue from all quadrants. It is multiple and holistic perspective. In framework 5, we add the issue. Look, nyo, we use poverty. So, for interior individual, subjective self-pity. Pag kayo may self-pity, ba yung self-pity is yung nawa sarili because if you are poor, ayan, that is individual interior. Now, malnutrition. Oh, physical yan. Pag ikaw ay malnourished, you will see it in your physical body. So, malnutrition, it is because of poverty. Diba? Ngayon, collective aspiration for a better life. Ngayon, because of poverty, yung gusto mo, yung gusto nyo, yung aspiration mo, yung iyong dream na magkaroon ng magandang buhay ng inyong lugar or ng society nyo o group of people in that particular place ay hindi nyo natutupad, it is because of this issue. It is because of poverty. Ngayon, what causes poverty in the society normally? Okay, we said, because of inflation. What is inflation? Yung pagbagsak na ekonomiya, di ba? So, after you analyze using these multiple aspects, the individual interior, you found out self-pity. Sa exterior individual, malnutrition, collective aspiration for a better life, hindi natutupad, is because of poverty. That is collective interior, and the cause of poverty is inflation. That is social. All of this class, sabi, how do we reflect on the issue using AQAL framework? So quadrants as expressed in multiple perspectives with the issue of poverty. We know that poverty has a psychological aspect. You will see it in upper left quadrant. It is in the mind, subjective. Then it affects the way we think, or look, feel, and even what we value. So, because of poverty, dahil sa kahirapan, naapektuhan tayong mag-isip, yung ating nararamdaman, at even what we value. It is because of poverty. Okay, that is the first aspect. Second aspect, but it does not stop there. So, kung sinolve mo daw yung problema using yung first quadrant lang, you solve it psychologically. How about physically? How about culturally? How about socially? Poverty also affects our bodies. Look, that is under the upper right quadrant, and that is a body, objective. It affects our nutrition, look, nutrition, our medication, and immune system. But some children have stunted growth due to poverty. And who could deny that poverty also affects, ayan, look, the culture such as arts, religion, and even the way we dress. Hindi ka na makabili ng mga bagong damit, hindi ka na makasabay sa mga fashion, even your religion, even your values are not affected. The group of people. So, culture, yan yung nasa lower left collective. And of course, it is obvious that poverty has an economic, political, even technological components, all parts of the social lower right quadrant.